Hey there, Michelle here. Sometimes when we're looking at enrolling in a course or a program of any type, it's hard to tell all what's included from reading a sales page or seeing various posts on social media. And sometimes we just kind of catch the parts and pieces and not everything that's being included in the course. So I wanted to spend a couple minutes and do more of a behind the scenes look at everything that's included when you enroll in the Green Marketing Academy. So right now on this screen, you're looking at the course curriculum for the Academy. It starts out with an introduction explaining some of the different ways that you're going to be participating in the course, whether you're enrolled in the self-paced option or in the live coaching cohort. So it goes over the knowledge checks and certification if you're interested in getting the completion badge and certificate of completion to use in your marketing materials, on your website, on your resume. And then it'll go into the option to join our private Slack community, which I'll go over in a little bit. It also has information about the group coaching calls if you're enrolled in that option. And then it'll take you to our Impact and Resource Hub, which I'll be showing you separately here as well. And then finally, the expert guest speaker schedule. All students, no matter what tier you enroll in, have access to the live guest speaker workshops, and I'll show you that in a bit as well. We dive into an overview of green marketing. So in this section, you'll learn about the history of green marketing, where this concept even has come from, and then we'll dive into greenwashing, how to avoid purpose washing and greenwashing as both a business and a consumer, the importance of a circular economy, and sourcing and fact checking. So this is more of an overview module of green sustainable marketing and the topics that we'll be diving into more individually for your business or your role as a marketer. Then it goes down to green marketing in your world. So these lessons are split up by business type. First, we talk about common misconceptions about sustainable marketing in businesses. We touch on the digital carbon footprint because, as you may or may not be aware of, yes, printed materials, use of trees causes deforestation and all types of junk going into landfills, but there's also a lot of virtual and digital junk floating around out there that are contributing to this carbon footprint. So we'll be touching on that a bit. Then it'll go into individual lessons depending on what type of business you are. So we have service-based businesses here, product-based businesses, and storefront businesses. So each of these lessons is designed to give you sort of some green marketing upfront tips depending on your business type. Then we'll move on to diving into your core values and creating a sustainable branding strategy. We'll spend a lot of time here finding and defining your why, which is a central focus of the Green Marketing Academy and lays the groundwork for our action plans and our strategies that we work on later on in the course. We'll go over establishing and evaluating your core values. We'll go over sustainable branding and the importance of consistency in your brand, both from a visual and a messaging standpoint. And then the next module will go into ethical and accessible marketing strategies. So making sure that you are using ethical marketing practices and what some of those unethical tactics may look like. We'll go into inclusivity in your marketing, making sure that you're including those that may have a different learning style or are hard of hearing or have limited sight, making sure that your messaging, your visuals, and all of that is accessible and inclusive of people of all different backgrounds. And then we'll also be giving you some auditing for accessibility tools to use for your website and other marketing channels to make sure it's in line. Ethical and accessible marketing is just as important as marketing that's good for the planet. This section really focuses on how you can make your marketing better for your audience and the people that need to hear your message. And then moving on to design, printing, and packaging for the planet. Here we'll take a look at guidelines for green graphic design, choosing better treeless paper stocks, alternative paper stocks that don't cause deforestation. We'll show you how to Send a message to all those junk mail senders and really have a voice in being an advocate for change, for getting all this junk mail. I know it's one of the most frustrating parts of receiving mail is getting all this junk. And then we'll go on to talking about green website design principles and tips. This is a higher level overview. It doesn't, you don't necessarily need to be a website developer to understand these principles and tips. It's something that all businesses, marketers, and professionals can implement if you run your own website or if you have an agency doing it. And then we'll dive into product packaging tips for businesses and consumers to make sure that you're aware of the recyclability of certain compostable packaging types and all of that. So a lot to explain in that particular lesson. And then you'll dive into sustainable copy and messaging, making sure that you're crafting copy that actually converts and makes sure that your message for your audience is well received and is reaching the right people. We'll go over social media content and messaging, tips for sustainable blogging. Blogging is an incredible tool if you aren't already doing that to make sure that your business is appearing in web searches. And so we'll go over the importance of how to structure a blog post to make sure it's doing just that. And then section 7 or module 7, keeping your energy sustainable. This is, from the feedback I've received from students so far, this is one of the most helpful sections of the course because we take an intentional pause before we dive into our action plans to make sure that you're addressing your own energy drain and setting boundaries. We'll go into setting social media boundaries, the importance of routines, and navigating the overwhelm that seems to come along with being in a marketing role or owning a business. We'll also talk about approaching your action plan with balance in mind, making sure that you're not overcommitting yourself to too many new marketing strategies or implementing too many of these green marketing practices at once. I want you to be approaching your strategy and action plan with a very manageable mindset to make sure that, again, you don't overwhelm yourself or get burnt out with some of these new and exciting things that you've learned throughout the course. And then we'll go into transparency and reporting. So how to publish your impact or sustainability practices in your different channels, talking about ESG and annual impact reports that you can publish as a business, and then touching on third-party certifications that are available out there. Then finally, we'll dive into crafting your action plan, making sure that your action plans are very strategic versus tactical, and what makes an action plan effective. And then I'll provide some guidance before we dive into the templates that I provide on how to build a sustainable and effective action plan. There are some bonus modules here just beyond sustainable marketing, tips for low waste, zero waste living, tips for travel, and hiring a sustainable business consultant or firm. And then it moves into the course conclusion and next steps. So going into the resource directory that's in the Impact Hub that I'll be showing you next. Also going over the Green Marketing Academy certification details if that's something that you wish to achieve. And then going into an affiliate program that we have set up. All of the expert guest speaker masterclasses and workshops that are previously recorded can be found here as well, and we are continually adding to this list. Next, I'm going to go over to the Impact Hub. This is another portion or component of the course, I should say, that's included, and it is here for your use. This is hosted on a platform called Notion, but you're able to make a copy and edit this, use these templates, checklists in any way that you want. So I provide some explanation of how to navigate this Impact Hub in this Start Here tab, but going into the impact trackers. There is different digital waste trackers that you can use, print material trackers. If you'd like to keep track of the impact that you're having from an environmental standpoint, this is a great tool to use for that. It also has a travel tracker if you want to calculate your carbon footprint with traveling and how to offset that. There's a tool for you right down here. So think of this as sort of the tracker hub. Going back to the main page here, this is the, I would say, bread and butter of the Green Marketing Academy, which is the strategies and action plans. So what I've done here is I've made a template portal for you to use to implement your strategies and action plans so that you don't have to come up with this template all on your own. So if I click in here, you'll see that I've taken every piece of learning from the course and brought it into this handy dandy outline or template for you. And please keep in mind, and I'll explain this later on if you do join, that you do not have to implement this all at once. But this is more to take the legwork and guesswork out of everything that you've learned in the course and put it all right in a list of things that you can do over time to implement to help you achieve a sustainable marketing action plan. There's also some other exercises that I've weaved in here to help you establish the priorities of the action steps you're going to take. And then going over to, there's a couple other weekly impact checklists that you can use. Some people love daily checklists. Some people like weekly or monthly. All of those are here for you as well as a website implementation checklist that you can use to make your website more sustainable, accessible, and just overall better SEO, run a bit faster. There's far more advantages to working on your website in a sustainable way than just saving the planet. So that is the Impact and Resource Hub for you. Let me go back and show you the Impact Hub, which is very exciting. This is the Business and Resource Directory. This is a list of over 100 businesses that I put together and organized for you. There's a video that walks through how to use this, but basically I've listed out business tools and vendors that have already been vetted to ensure that they are in fact a sustainable business. So from printers to use, to certifications, to different service providers, I have that all in here for you. And this is a huge value because it takes hours, and it has taken me hours of research to make sure that every company that I've included in here is reputable, has certain guidelines in place, and are not greenwashing their customers. So this is here for you as a part of the course, and in itself is a very valuable tool to use as you go on your sustainability journey. So that concludes the quick overview of the Impact Hub, but it's very important that I touch on this because it's a huge component of the course that doesn't get as much attention as some of the other aspects does sometimes. And of course, the community support. This is the private Slack channel that I've created for all of the students within the Green Marketing Academy. I post regular announcements in here with our upcoming guest speakers. And it's another place for you to collaborate with other business owners. In these channels, we share different inspiration, whether it's podcasts, packaging, things like that, articles, and we really communicate back and forth on things that we see that are helpful to other businesses. So it's a lot of fun to just collaborate and communicate back and forth with businesses on a regular basis who are doing the same work that we are. And then finally, we have the upcoming expert guest speakers. All of our upcoming workshops and guest speakers are available to any students within the Green Marketing Academy. Again, whether or not you've signed up for the live cohort or the self-paced version. So we have about monthly workshops on a recurring basis. We will have 3 in the spring, and we will continue those in the fall. So I hope that this overview has been helpful for you to make a decision whether or not the Green Marketing Academy is a good fit for you. If you have any questions at all, you are more than welcome to reach out to me, Michelle Miller, and I will put my information beneath this video as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you soon.